Despite the fact that he only threw for 11 touchdowns last year, and the fact that he averaged a very mediocre 6.3 yards per pass attempt, and despite the fact that he was hands down the worst deep ball thrower in the National Football League last year, I still got reason to believe that the Miami Dolphins' Tua Tagovailoa is the next breakout second-year quarterback in the National Football League. Allow me to break it down for y'all. Sai.
What's good, brother?
Roll the clip.
Here comes the, y'all don't really want it like that. Yeah. Here comes the.
Steezy family. If you're new to the channel, well, welcome. And Calvin-Domingo is the name. Steezy A. Smith is the game. If you haven't already, well, do us a favor and join the family. Be sure to hit that subscribe. Don't forget to also leave us a like and drop a comment, as it helps out tremendously for the YouTube algorithm. And last but not least, follow us on the other socials, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Steezy A. Smith to keep up to date in both the sports world and the art world. You're tuning in to Steezy A, and let's get to cooking, shall we? Yes, it's safe to say that Tua, and that's being generous, had an awful year last year at quarterback for the Miami Dolphins. But given a little bit of context, now the picture becomes a lot more clear. Simply put, he had the worst offseason that any rookie quarterback could possibly have. Not only was he coming off a very serious and severe hip injury sustained back in Alabama, as did all other rookies last year, he had no offseason to really speak of. No OTAs, no training camp, no preseason to get valuable reps in. And not only that, when he was finally thrown into the fire in relief of Ryan Fitzpatrick, he was playing for an offense that was ill-suited for him. He was playing in a gunslinger type offense that was meant for Ryan Fitzpatrick. And even if head coach Brian Flores and offensive coordinator Chan Gailey were making adjustments to fit Tua into the playbook when they put him in the starting lineup after the bye, well, it just wasn't enough. Not only that, he had no personnel around him. Devontae Parker was constantly injured, and so he had no talent to speak of. He had no offensive line. He was thrown into the fire for an offense that wasn't even fit for him. And okay, it was partially his fault. He did mention how he didn't have a full grasp of the playbook, but you can't really blame the guy when he's coming off such a serious injury like the one that he was recovering from last year. And so you combine all those things, well, I'm not very surprised that he had the year that he had. Given the abysmal year that he had last year, though, as a rookie, there were some positive signs. He was 6-3 as a starter. He had a quarterback rating of 87.1, and while that's not elite by any means, that's also not very disastrous. And yes, he was a check down Charlie, but the injury pretty much limited his mobility and his ability to be the player that he once was. Let's not forget, he has the talent, he has the pedigree. There was a point at one time in college football where he was the best quarterback in college football. Not only that, he was the 1B to Trevor Lawrence's 1A in terms of quarterback rankings amongst the college football elite. And at one point in time, he was also next to Joe Burrow to being considered the #1 pick in the 2020 NFL draft. Obviously, the hip injury derailed that, but tank for Tua was a thing, and the Dolphins were the team that initially led that charge. They ended up standing pat, and at 5th overall, they still ended up drafting Tua Tagovailoa. And going back to this year's NFL draft, well, they passed up on plenty of quarterbacks, signifying that they have a lot of confidence in Tua. They passed up on Justin Fields. They passed up on Trey Lance when they traded that 3rd overall pick to the Niners. They passed up on Mac Jones. And so, doesn't that mean that they have confidence in their sophomore quarterback moving forward? Going into this offseason, they actually upgraded the talent and the personnel around him. There's hope in that by reuniting him with his former wide receiver in Jalen Waddle, maybe that can help bring back and unlock some of the game that Tua had back in Alabama. They also brought in one of the best and the fastest deep threats in all of football in Will Fuller from the Houston Texans. Devontae Parker just had 1,200 yards receiving a couple years ago, and Mike Gesicki is an emerging young talent at the tight end position. They also solidified the offensive line via the draft. They have sophomore players set to take that next leap. They have an elite head coach, Brian Flores, and they still have the elite top 10 defense that they featured last year. All the pieces are in place for Tua to break out next season in Miami. And if recent memory, and if the last couple years are any indication, well, a quarterback's second year in the National Football League can be very telling. Guys like Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, and Kyler Murray have all shined and emerged as MVP candidates in their second years. And so when you look at a quarterback's second year in the National Football League, it is very telling, and it's going to say whether or not this quarterback is going to be a star. Obviously, that wasn't the case with Josh Allen as he emerged as a true star at the position in his 3rd year, but I like to use a quarterback's second year as a good baseline to see whether or not he's going to be a star in the National Football League. Let me know in the comment section down below. Do you guys agree with me, or am I tripping? Is Tua the next to break out at the quarterback position, or do you have another breakout in mind? That marks the end of this video. Hope y'all enjoyed. Nothing but love. All glory to God, and Steezy out. Again, this video is gonna be dedicated to Mr. Todd Nas. While that concludes this video, we have loads of other content you don't have to stop watching there. Other content on our channel homepage as well as our social media platforms. And again, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for us. Tell a friend and tell a friend. Nothing but love, and Steezy out.